Hey, in this video, I'm going to be talking about the top 5 quarterbacks that should be in your fantasy lineup in NFL Week 6. Coming right up. Hey, how you doing, guys? It's Darian Hopkins from the Spotlight Sports Network, and I am here to give you the latest updates on fantasy players, fantasy football, and NFL week-by-week DFS picks. On our channel, we actually talk about fantasy football from ESPN, NFL, Yahoo, DraftKings, and we give you lots of tips of players who to start and who to sit. And if you do like our content here, I would like to consider for you to subscribing to our page. So, let's just get started. These are my top 5 quarterbacks that should be in your lineup in NFL Week 6. The first quarterback that we have in our matchup is Deshaun Watson from the Houston Texans going up against the Cleveland Browns. And Watson has been absolute on fire since he's taken over the starter in Houston, scoring a combined 12 touchdowns among almost 90 fantasy points over the last 3 weeks. He has had a lot of success since he became the starter, and it will continue against the Browns, who gives up a lot of points to a lot of quarterbacks. Allow 11 scoring strikes and the average of 19.97 fantasy points in a game to quarterbacks. I really like this play for Deshaun Watson, so this is my #1 quarterback that you should start in your NFL Week 6. The next quarterback that we do have on our matchup this week is Matthew Stafford from the Detroit Lions going up against the New Orleans Saints. Stafford has been very inconsistent in the stat sheet so far this season, but it's not hard to like him this week. Ahead of matchup with New Orleans, I really do like this matchup. No team in the league has allowed more fantasy points than the New Orleans Saints, with 30.78 points per game to opposing quarterbacks at home this season. This is definitely not a surprise to see Stafford finish with a solid stat this week, but I really do like this pick against the last ranked defense in the New Orleans Saints. Next, we have Kirk Cousins from the Washington Redskins going up against the San Francisco 49ers this week in Week 6. Cousins and the Redskins are fresh off a bye week, in the upcoming matchup against the 49ers makes him definitely a solid starter for fantasy owners. San Francisco has struggled against quarterbacks this year, allowing 8 total touchdowns and an average of 266.4 passing yards among almost at least 18 to 20 fantasy points per contest at this position. The 49ers defense is definitely not that good. This is going to be a very high-scoring game because both defenses are really not that solid. But I do like the Redskins' defense better than the 49ers' defense. But I do like Kirk Cousins in this matchup, knowing they almost rank 2nd to 3rd or 4th to last in the league in total defense. The next quarterback that we have on our list is Jameis Winston from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going up against the Arizona Cardinals. Winston hasn't put up monster numbers, but he has scored 18-plus fantasy points in 2 straight games. It has a nice matchup against the Cardinals. Arizona's defense has been very horrible this year, having Wentz go over 400 passing yards, or no, 300 passing yards. I apologize. 300 passing yards in a career high of 4 touchdowns last week in the loss to the Philadelphia Eagles. Arizona defense has struggled this season, allowing 22-plus fantasy points to three of the first 5 quarterbacks to face, including 27.6 points to Carson Wentz last week. The next quarterback that we have on our list here, and the final quarterback that we have, is Carson Palmer from the Arizona Cardinals going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Palmer and the Cardinals has thrown the football a ton this season. Thought that they could have a chance with the recent acquisition of Adrian Peterson, but 4 teams on the bye in the matchup against the Buccaneers is still a viable starter. Tampa Bay has allowed an average of almost 20 fantasy points a game to quarterbacks, and I really do like Carson Palmer in this game against the Buccaneers. I think this team could be better than what they was. Now they just acquired Adrian Peterson. Hopefully they could get him some touches out of the backfield, catching the football, and help protect Carson Palmer. So this would be a great game for him to start, knowing that they did a great job. Tom Brady did a great job against the Buccaneers last Thursday night against them. Here are some other quarterbacks that you should consider in your NFL Week 6 lineup. Cam Newton versus the Philadelphia Eagles, Matt Ryan versus the Dolphins, and my biggest sleepers that I have this week is Jacoby Brissett versus the Tennessee Titans and Kevin Hogan versus the Houston Texans. And there you have it, guys. These are my top 5 quarterbacks in fantasy football for NFL Week 6. And again, I would like for y'all to comment below and give me y'all opinions on the top 5 quarterbacks that I picked to start in NFL Week 6. And if you're new to the page again, just please subscribe to our page. Get all the latest news and updates on who to start and who to sit on fantasy football. I am Darian Hopkins, and I see y'all later. It's the Spotlight Sports Talk. Peace.